Through fear of no tomorrow, in sight of being a champion, the stars will come out.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to SportsCenter, along with my good friend Dave Revsine. I'm Dave Feldman. And can you just imagine how many people had to call in sick for this combo to get on the air?
Isn't that the truth? Your idea on poisoning the food at the ESPN spring picnic. That was a real brainstorm. That worked out well. Ahead on the show, the Latch looks to storm out to a 2-zip lead in the West. Ray Knight erupts in Cincy. And Tiger continues to torch the course in Irving, Texas. We start you off a little further south with a bold prediction.
Yeah, and you know what they say, Rever? If it ain't bragging, or isn't bragging, if you back it up. Ain't wouldn't be the correct English, you know? 1969, Joe Namath predicted that the underdog Jets would beat the Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl III. They did. In 1988, Lakers coach Pat Riley guaranteed his team would repeat as NBA champs. And they did. And Thursday, after Charles Barkley's Rockets lost to the Sonics, forcing a 7th and deciding game, CB became the latest to say, I guarantee, therefore I am.
It's been a hell of a series. You got a very good team. We got a very good team. But we're going to win Saturday. And we are going to win Saturday. And that's pretty much all I got to say. I'm not answering any questions. We are going to win Saturday.
For those of you who are not summa cum laude, he said we are going to win Saturday. Hakeem Olajuwon hoping to add another banner there. Matt Maloney kicks it into Hakeem, who beats the triple team for the hoop and one. Second quarter, Rockets down one. Hakeem with the steal, and the Rockets on the run. Charles Barkley finishes. Rockets led 55-50 at the half, and so Charles had 14 at the break. Third quarter, Sean Kemp goes up timid, blowing 2 easy layups, and George Karl is concerned.
Play the game like it's supposed to be played. Don't hesitate. Go.
All right, Kemp tried to follow Karl's words. He takes it hard to the hole, but he's called for an offensive foul. Sean, I don't agree with that call at all. That's Sean talking, by the way, not me. Seattle's shooting went south in the second half. Terry Cummings misses a jack. Sam Perkins, who also guaranteed a victory, couldn't guarantee that. Gary Payton double pump Rick. Seattle missed 12 straight field goals in one stretch, and yes, they had a problem. Rockets up 79-70, just over 8 to go. Mario Elie hits a big three. Elie is pumped, and the Rockets would have the lead up to 14 with 4 minutes left. But the Sonics battled back down from 3-1. They weren't about to quit now. Detlef Schrempf, a three. That cut the lead to 7. Then Sean Kemp lays it in and draws the foul. Sonics are within 2. The Rockets answered. Matt Maloney passes it to Clyde, back to Maloney. That put the Rockets up 6. 25 seconds left. Sonics are down 4. Sean Kemp feeds Detlef Schrempf to the left. Sonics within 2. 16 seconds left. Sonics with 3. Down 3 with the ball. Schrempf hands off to Sean Kemp, and Sean Kemp misses the off-balance J, and the ball goes out of bounds off Schrempf. Houston ball. So Houston has to beat the press, and they do. They work it to Hakeem, and Hakeem slams the door. Literally, figuratively, it's done. Houston holds on to win it. 96-91. Payton finished with 27 points and played 46 minutes. Kemp finished with 21 and 10 boards. The Rockets are now 17-0 when they win the first game of a series. They will open up the conference finals against Utah on Monday night in Salt Lake City.
They played like they were the defending Western Conference champions. I mean, they could have packed it in today when they were down 14, but they, you know, I think Clyde knew the point spread and was trying to keep it close.
I thought it was a hell of a series. They go on, we go home. But I think deep down inside, we all know we have a lot of respect for one another, and I'm very anxious because I think this year the champion of the NBA is going to come from the Western Conference.
In the Rockets' first 3 wins of the series, 3 was a consistent theme. Mario Elliott and Matt Maloney successfully launched threes, leading the Rockets to victory. While in Game 7, credit the win to the big 3 of Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, and Clyde Drexler, who collectively had their best games of the series. They combined for nearly 12 points more of offense in Game 7 than they had averaged in the Rockets' first 3 wins, and they shot 12% better from the field. Later on in SportsCenter, Mark Schwartz will have a closer look at the Rockets' Game 7 win.
Back in the 70s, Triple Crown winners were almost commonplace, but it's been 19 years since Affirmed pulled it off with Steve Cawthon aboard. Since then, just 4 horses have won the first 2 legs, which might explain why Kentucky Derby champ Silver Charm wasn't even favored in Saturday's Preakness. That honor went to Captain Bodgett, who was the runner-up at Churchill Downs. To Pimlico we go, and trainer Bob Baffert and owner Bob Lewis of Silver Charm hoping for a repeat of Kentucky. There's Freehouse, one of the favorites heading in. But it was Crypt 2 that held everyone up. He took 2:21 just to enter the gate. And early on, he funneled some of that energy, taking the lead, but he faded a bit at the midway point. Here's Dave Johnson with the call.
Tight pack as they straighten away in the lane in the Preakness. Freehouse in front. Silver Charm on the outside coming on to challenge. Touch gold at the rail. And down the stretch they come in the Preakness. On the inside, Freehouse. On the outside, Silver Charm. Noses apart. 50 yards to go. Freehouse and Silver Charm. Captain Bodgett is flying. Photo finish. Was it Silver Charm on the outside?
One, Robert. Number 1.
No, that was close.
Yeah, we got it, Robert. We got it.
Snap back and hit me.
Yes, they did. Take another look. It indeed was Silver Charm by a head bob. It is official. Take a look at the photo. Bob Baffert pumped. He has 2 legs completed to the Triple Crown. Silver Charm, your winner with Gary Stevens aboard. It's Stevens' first Preakness victory in 9 starts. Freehouse second, Captain Bodgett third. Those 2 were flip-flopped at the Derby. Silver Charm, the 26th horse to win both the Derby and Preakness. 11 of them have won the Triple Crown.
I think it was a case of 3 different riders really respecting the competition, and that being Alex Solis, myself, and Ken DeSormo, and probably one of the most exciting races that I've ever been a part of.
It's frustrating, it's disappointing. You don't know whether to laugh or cry, but you cannot be anything but just proud of the horse who gave his life today.
Later in the show, we'll head back to Pimlico, where Steve Cyphers will have more reaction to Silver Charm's thrilling win.
Saturday night, Jimmy Key looked to become baseball's first 8-game winner. As his O's headed to Seattle, Key brought with him a 7-0 record and a 1.82 ERA in 8 starts. Now, ironically, 4 years ago to the day, Key made his 9th start for the Yankees. That year, he brought a 3-1 record and a 1.79 ERA. He went on to finish that year 18-6, a career high for wins. A good omen, perhaps? Well, he was in trouble early. Bottom 1, no score, 1 out, bases loaded. Jay Buhner at the plate,
In the 3-2 pitch.
but he grounds out. 5-4-3 double play, and Key is out of the jam.
Double play.
Top 2, no score for B.J. Surhoff. And he takes Scott Sanders deep to the right field seat. Surhoff's 5th home run of the year, and the O's are up 1-0. Bottom 9, Mariners down 4-2, 2 outs. I know that guy. That's Junior. Ken Griffey Jr. facing Randy Myers. Griff with the shot up the middle. Ricochets off the mound. Joey Cora scores. Mariners down 4-3. Then Armando Benitez into pinch with 2 on, 2 outs, facing Edgar Martinez, and Martinez to pop to Tony Tarasco, and that ends the game. The O's hold on to win it. 4-3 is the final score. So Jimmy Key, off to the best start in his career, becomes the major's first 8-game winner. He goes 5 2/3, equaling his shortest stint of the year, allowing 6 hits and 1 run. M starter Scott Sanders dropped to 0-5. The Yanks in Texas chasing the O's, and a game of firsts. In the first, John Burkett facing Bernie Williams with 2 on and no outs, and Williams singles into left. His first hit and RBI against Burkett, 31st RBI of the year. Next up, Tino Martinez. Martinez blasts an offering to right. It's a 3-run job, his 17th of the year. The first man to get 50 RBIs, 4-0 Yanks. Still in the first, no outs after Fielder doubles. Paul O'Neill steps up, and I mean steps up. A 2-run blast to right center, his 8th of the season. 6-0 Yanks, and Johnny Oates motionless. 11-5 is the final score. Bernie Williams and Cecil Fielder each had 4 of the Yankees' season-high 20 hits. John Burkett had the shortest outing in his 230 career starts, retiring just 5 hitters. The Yanks also announced that outfielder Darryl Strawberry will start Monday for the Double-A Norwich Navigators against Portland. Straw was placed on the 15-day disabled list last month because of fluid buildup in the knee. Reverend?
On Thursday and Friday, the Dodgers were in Cincinnati. In any other year, those would be the first 2 games of a 4-game weekend series. In order to make interleague play more feasible, though, the league has scheduled a bunch of 2-game series. So L.A. in Montreal Saturday, and they're not happy about it. Todd Worrell saying, "I can see us not voting for interleague play next year." Eric Karros, a little less diplomatic, saying, "These 2-game series stink." A reprieve for Karros and company. This game 1 of a 3-game set. More good news for the Dodgers. Brett Butler taking BP before the game. First time since going down with a shoulder injury. Carlos Perez on the mound, top of the 3rd, no score, facing Wilton Guerrero. And Wilton goes deep to center and off the wall. Hideo Nomo and Todd Hollandsworth score. 6th triple of the year for Guerrero, and brother Vladimir amused. Bottom of the 4th, Vladimir. This is no laughing matter. Facing Nomo, and he freezes him with the fastball. Bottom 6, Nomo fans Rondell White with the splitter, and then gets Mike Lansing with another splitter. 11 Ks for Nomo, a season high. Dodgers win it 8-3. Nomo winning his 3rd straight decision, putting a halt to the Expos' 5-game winning streak. Todd Zeile drove in 2 runs for the Dodgers, who have won 3 of their last 4. Cubs and Giants, Chicago looking for its 3rd straight win. Amare Telemaco pitching well, facing JT Snow. Rips one to right. Sammy Sosa on the run. Shabba! Bottom of the 8th now, Giants down 1-zip. Rick Wilkins up there. The former Cub started the day hitting 176. Rips Telemaco deep to right, just foul. A couple pitches later, Wilkins gets this one fair. 2-run shot to right. He was replacing Damon Berryhill, another former Cub who dislocated his finger earlier in the game. The Giants hold on for the 4-1 win. Mike Gardner winning his 5th straight decision to improve to 5-1. Rod Beck pitching the 9th to earn his NL leading 14th save.
Thursday night, a blown transformer left parts of McNichols Arena without power for Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals between the Red Wings and the Avalanche, a game which the Avs won 2-1. "This is a disaster," said one Colorado fan. "I paid $70 for my ticket. I can't hear the PA announcer, and there's no lights on in the bathrooms. Boy, do we need a new arena." Sounds like the guy's a little high maintenance to me. Game 2, back at McNichols, and Patrick Waugh looking for his 96th career playoff win. Peter Forsberg in his 2nd game back from a concussion and sit on the... Dramamine, anyone? 2nd period, Avalanche leading 1-0. Valerie Kaminsky's shot is stopped by Mike Vernon, but Claude Lemieux is there to put in the rebound. Lemieux's 11th. Avalanche lead it 2-0. 3rd period, Red Wings trailing 2-1 on the power play. Steve Yzerman at the pass. Sergei Fedorov slips it past Waugh. Fedorov's 3rd goal of the playoffs were tied at 2. Then Slava Kozlov shoots in the open, but Waugh is there to make the sprawling save. Watch it again. Waugh, beautiful. Still 3rd period. Tie score, just over 4 minutes remaining. Steve Yzerman skates past the blue line. His first shot is stopped by Waugh. Yzerman behind the net shoots the puck off Waugh's skate and scores. Yzerman's 4th goal of the playoffs, Wings up 3-2. Still in the 3rd, same score. Avalanche on the attack, and Eric Lacroix shoots in the open, but Nicholas Lidstrom knocks it away. Then Brendan Shanahan passes to Darren McCarty, who beats Waugh top shelf. McCarty's 2nd goal of the playoffs, Wings up 4-2. As time expires, Claude Lemieux, very upset. That's upset. That's more upset. And then that's really upset. Red Wings win at 4-2. The series is tied at 1. The Red Wings outshot the Avs 40-17. They outshot them 35-19 in the series opener. Mike Vernon had 15 saves. Patrick Waugh 36. The series is now tied at 1 game apiece.
And we're not overly frustrated because we know that we played awful. I mean, you get beaten, you're playing great. You scratch your head and a whole sense of other places. But I'll tell you, we know we didn't play very well tonight. We played awful.
I'm sure they're not crushed in their dressing room. They know it's a long series, and when you win the Stanley Cup, you're not going to you're not going to be an inexperienced team, and you're not going to get rattled easily. So, and at the same time, we're not going to fly home tonight patting each other on the back the whole way home. We got another big game to play.
All right, the Red Wings are holding distinct shot advantages versus each opponent so far throughout the playoffs. Part of the reason for the 4-game sweep of the Ducks in the semis was a 23-shot per game differential, which included 2 70-shot outings. The shooting prowess has continued for the Red Wings in the early going versus the Avalanche, as they've now outshot the opposition in each of 12 playoff games this season.
It's gotten to the point where it would be news if Tiger Woods wasn't atop the leaderboard. Tiger has picked up right where he left off at the Masters. Coming up next, we'll update you on Saturday's action at the Bryon Nelson. Also ahead, Ray Knight is not pleased, and you wouldn't be either if you were managing Cincinnati. Reds Padres highlights on the way. Mark McGuire. Mark doing what he does best, but is it enough to lift the A's past Chicago? And gearheads rejoice. An auto racing double dip is just moments away. You are immersed in SportsCenter.
This is the hangar. This is our plane.
What's that?
That's a rock.
This summer,
Who's that guy?
he's a U.S. Ranger hitching a ride home. Con Air invites you to sit back,
Isn't that your car?
relax,
What are you gonna do? I'm gonna sit today.
and enjoy the ride.
Buckle up.
From Jerry Bruckheimer, producer of The Rock, Con Air, directed by Simon West.
I'm too old for this.
Rated R. Starts Friday, June 6th.
The NBA Finals, the World Series, the Stanley Cup Finals, the Daytona 500, and the Super Bowl. Until now, there was only one man behind the scenes at every event. His name is Bill. He delivers the Gatorade. Twist off a winning cap, and you too are headed to all 5 of the greatest sporting events of the year, just like Bill, without all that heavy lifting.
Your 2 o'clock is here.
Mannequins. This guy better have mannequins. Last thing we need are more hangers.
Only Nextel digital cellular phones have direct connect.
Guys, a little problem. I need mannequins.
Gotcha.
Mannequins.
Mannequins.
A two-way radio feature that lets you instantly talk to any or all of your coworkers with a push of a button.
Mannequins.
Get smart. Get Nextel, the national all-digital wireless network.
When you first come into the league, you're at the bottom of the mountain.
Football camp is the hardest thing I've ever been through.
Team, coaches, media,
all eyes are looking at me. Your whole body just starts getting hot.
We asked some of the NFL's hottest rookies to switch antiperspirants and try Degree.
Body heat activated.
As your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection when you need it most.
As I work harder, Degree works harder.
This stuff really works.
When your temperature rises, here it is, Degree.
Body heat activated Degree for an extra degree of protection.
Help me keep my coolness.
Before playing in one of his first professional tournaments, Tiger Woods was asked about pressure. Tiger said the last time he had felt any was when he was practicing his flop shots in his living room as a boy. He would try to loft the ball over his mother's china vases and land it on the hearth short of the fireplace. That's pressure. Lee Rinker was feeling some pressure on Saturday. He went from playing in front of his friends and family on Friday to playing with Tiger in the lead group on Saturday, an estimated 80,000 on hand. Tiger came into the day as the co-leader, started the front 9 with 3 birds. Back 9 a bit tougher on the par 4 14th. His second shot, not so good, into the trap. But Tiger needed only 26 putts for the second day in a row, and this sand save shows you why. He would par to remain at 13 under. Par 4 16th. Tiger with the approach and a bit too strong. He had some problems measuring club length on the back 9. As you see, quite far from the pin on the fringe, but saves himself again with the short game. An absolutely beautiful chip, reads the green beautifully. He would birdie to move to 14 under on the par 4 18th. Tiger with the tee shot, and he's not happy with that one either. Too strong, it's headed into the rough. We have a theme developing here. Bad shots followed by very good shots. There is a reason he has played his last 117 holes in 37 under par. A great recovery. He would call this his best shot of the day. Sets up his 6th birdie. Tiger finished 2 strokes up at 15 under, a 67. He's slipping a bit, though. After all, he opened the tourney with back-to-back 64s. Rinker managed just fine under the pressure. He is very much in contention. 12 golfers, in fact, within 3 strokes of the lead, which is why Woods headed to the range after his round. A bit later on SportsCenter, Jimmy Roberts joins us with more on Tiger's Day. Meanwhile, the seniors in Clifton, New Jersey for the Cadillac NFL Golf Classic. Boomer Esiason having some problems on the greens, and on 14, it's George Archer. He misses the short putt. He'd finish at 5 under and in the lead. Shot of the day, 16th hole, par 4. Rick Massengale's second shot rolls right up to the pin. He would birdie that and finish one shot back on the day. Houston Oiler Al Del Greco on the 16th tee. His shot goes way right, almost to the 17th tee, and that ends his 4-year reign as the NFL champ as he falls to Trent Dilfer. As for the seniors, though, Archer's 4-stroke lead at the outset of the day now down to 1 after an even par 72. Massengale is just 1 shot back. Jeremy Schaap checks in with more on the seniors a bit later in the show. Now, Trent Dilfer did win the NFL players portion of the tournament, ending Del Greco's 4-year reign as champ, as we mentioned.
On Friday night, the Cards' Alan Bennis had a no-hitter through 8 2/3 innings against the Braves. Michael Tucker broke it up with a double, and Atlanta ended up winning 1-0 in 13. The most disappointing thing is not that I lost the no-hitter, said Bennis, but that we lost. John Smoltz offering no relief to the Cards. Top of the second, Smoltz in control. John Mabry.
Again, the 2-2 to Mabry.
Yeah, swinging. Royce Clayton.
Runner
swinging. Smoltz struck out the side in the second, 7 Ks for the game. Bottom of the fourth, 2-0 Braves. Jeff Blauser on third, John Smoltz on first, no outs. Kenny Lofton singles off Matt Morris to right. Blauser scores 3-0 Braves. Bottom of the seventh, 9-2 Braves. Kenny Lofton this time lines it to the gap off Lance Painter. Rafael Belliard comes all the way home from first. A triple for Lofton, who was 5 for 5 on the night. 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Top of the eighth, Bobby Cox arguing a balk call with second base umpire Bob Davison. Frank Pulley steps in to break up the confrontation. That's some close talking. The Braves win it 11-6 is the final score. The Braves finished with 19 hits, including 2 by John Smoltz, who lifted his average to 435. Jeff Blauser, who had a 2-run homer, and Ryan Klesko each had 3 hits. It was Lofton's 3rd 5-hit game of the season and 4th of his career. His 66 hits, by the way, are best in the majors. Rockies and the Mets in the second of a 4-game set. Top of the fourth, no score. Dante Bichette on first. Jason Bates grounds one up the middle. Carlos Baerga, the diving stop in the flip. Manny Alexander for the first. Bottom of the fourth, runners on second and third. Infield in for the Rocks. 1 out. Carlos Baerga lines a single up the middle off John Thompson. John Olerud and Bernard Gilkey are scoring, and it's 2-0 Mets. Top of the eighth, 3-0 Mets. Runner on first for Larry Walker. He lines one to Olerud, who doubles off Quentin McCracken, saves the Mets some runs at the next batter, Andres Galarraga, homered. Top of the ninth, 2 on, 2 outs. John Franco pitching with the 3-1 lead. And he gets Eric Young to pop out to Ray Ordonez, who I got the basket catch. Franco's 12th save as the Mets win it. 3-1 is the final score. Jones scattered 7 hits in 8 innings, striking out 4 and walking 3. He extended his scoreless streak to a career high, tying 18 innings before Andres Galarraga homered in the 8th. The Mets have won 5 of their last 7 and 13 of their last 19. Carlos Baerga hit 3 singles and drove in 2 runs for the Mets. Still ahead on this Dave edition of SportsCenter, qualifying continued for the Indianapolis 500. We'll tell you who's in, at least for now. And more on Silver Charm's big win at Saturday's Preakness Stakes. This is SportsCenter.
In the world of exercise, nothing is more basic than dumbbells. Nothing is more versatile or more effective. Now Soloflex has improved on dumbbells, making them safer, convenient, and comfortable. We've rubber-coated our plates with ridges for safe handling. Our patented locking collars pin lock into place so they can't work loose. And we've provided soft, comfortable grips to protect your hands. Soloflex has been making the finest barbell equipment for 20 years. Now we proudly introduce the best dumbbells ever made.
On sale now. Call now for your free brochure.
Here comes that psychic lady.
Okay, feel free to do your thing when getting nowhere.
think I saw that game too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A week ago at the Indy 500 qualifying, driver Scott Sharp, driving for A.J. Foyt, crashed for the second time and was hospitalized with a head injury. Then on Friday, Johnny O'Connell, also a Foyt driver, dislocated the arch of his left foot in another crash. Cue Billy Boat, the only driver bumped from last year's Indy 500, trying to make driving for A.J. okay. What had happened? Rookie Billy Rowe grew up in a house just outside turn 3. He had a good run. His average of 212.75.2 puts him in the middle row of 9. Then another rookie, Sam Schmidt, who hit the wall in warm-ups last week, took the track. Schmidt averaged 215.14 miles per hour to put him in row 9. It was the fastest run of the day until veteran Billy Boat had his turn. Boat had a great run. He averaged 215.544, and A.J. was thrilled. There was some trouble. Claude Bourbonnais goes too high into turn 2 and goes into the wall. Bourbonnais injured and drove his car back to the pits. He was okay. He wasn't that severely injured. Boat averaged 215.54 for the 4 laps, and his attempts came on the 3rd of 4 days of qualifying, so he will start no higher than the outside of the 8th row. This year, Boat's car is not exempt from a possible bump, but his average speed did make that possibility unlikely. Tice Carlson averaged 210.852, but unlike Boat, his car was guaranteed a spot. Veterans Fermin Velez, Dennis Vitolo, Mark Dismore, and Marco Greco also had exemptions. The Winston from Concord, North Carolina. In the Winston Open, the winner moves on to the Select. Number 25, Ricky Craven, goes by Lake Speed and would win the race. And then look at this, Darrell Waltrip in an interesting day-glow suit. Dale Earnhardt, whose game face is on. In segment 1 of 3 of the Select, Mark Martin comes up and bumps Bobby Labonte, who spins into the back of the infield. And watch this, amazingly, no one hits Labonte. He gets back on track, and he'd stay in the race. Segment 1 was a duel between Earnhardt and Dale Jarrett. Here, Jarrett gets the best of him, making the pass and winning the first segment. They invert for the second segment, and it was a family affair. Bobby Labonte gets by Terry Labonte and wins this portion. Setting up the dash for cash. 10-lap sprint, and it was no contest. Jeff Gordon blows by Terry Labonte and proceeds to blow away the rest of the field. He wins it by 15 lengths. His crew likes it. They'd like the fireworks, and they'd like the money, too, $207 grand. He took the lead 9 laps from the end of the race, and then he pulled away, so it's his second victory in 3 years. Bobby Labonte wound up about 15 car lengths back in second, and his older brother, 1996 Winston Cup champ Terry, was third. Dale Earnhardt and Jimmy Spencer rounded out the top 5. Gordon's price, like we said, $207,000 plus $500. I don't want to leave that out from the $1.1 million purse.
Since 1978, 4 horses have won the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown. On Saturday, Silver Charm became the 5th, but just one of those horses has finished better than 3rd in the Belmont Stakes. Can Silver Charm buck the trend? Steve Cyphers joins us with some thoughts on that, as well as a look back at today's photo finish.
When Captain Bodgett arrived at the Preakness Stakes barn 2.5 hours before post time, Silver Charm's trainer said his colt noticed.
Today, it was ironic when Captain Bodgett came into the barn. When he saw Captain Bodgett, he started like kicking and getting. I don't think he likes Captain Bodgett.
It would be a foreshadowing of things to come. Captain Bodgett invading Silver Charm's space. An invasion that couldn't have come at a better time for the Derby champion as he tried to outrun Freehouse as the trio neared the wire.
I really thought I was going to be second 3 or 4 strides before the wire because my horse, he thought that he had his nose in front. He had given me a nice hard run from the quarter pole home, and I think he kind of thought the race was over with, that he had his nose in front and he had done enough, and I knew that we hadn't done enough.
The last 1/8 of a mile, there was no way he was getting by me, and then the last 70 yards, Captain Bodgett gave one more surge, and that made Silver Charm give one more surge and kind of caught my horse where on an empty stride.
My horse seems like he's friends with Freehouse and doesn't really care if he runs by him, but when Captain Bodgett gets in the picture, it's like there's a war on.
Just a bob, that's all it was, a bob of the head, last 2 strides.
Now all heads turn to the Belmont Stakes, where a Silver Charm victory in the 1.5-mile test would give racing its first Triple Crown winner since affirmed in 1978.
Everything's great. You know, we've got a possible Triple Crown winner coming up, but we'd love to be the spoiler, no doubt.
I'm really looking forward to the Belmont and looking forward to getting us our first Triple Crown winner in quite some time.
Are you predicting victory?
Yeah, I am.
With me now is Hank Goldberg. Hank, we'll get to the Belmont in a second. First, rate this Preakness.
This race reinforced to me why I love this game so much. It had a little bit of everything. It had the courage of Touch Gold, who went to his knees at the start, scraped his chin, got up, made up about 10 lengths, got into the race, cut off in a stretch, and it did all this after grabbing a quarter, which may cost him appearance in the Belmont. Then you had the great stretch run. Once again, you've got Captain Bodgett coming up on the leaders, and he ducks a little bit inside, and the two leaders come out on him, talking about Freehouse and Silver Charm. Freehouse and his great courage in being able, although it was a speed-favoring track, in order to sustain, and then Gary Stevens' great ride, how well he fits Silver Charm. He understands pace, knew exactly when to move, and kept him a little bit back with faster fractions up front.
We'll see excitement now that we haven't seen since 1989, going to the Belmont with a chance for a Triple Crown winner. Can Silver Charm do it?
Well, he has the stamina. He stays out of trouble. He just never seems to get tired, and when he looks a horse in the eye, he's got courage and guts. I love this horse, and there's no reason why he can't. A couple of new entries will be there. Old familiar faces like Jack Flash, Crypto Star, he loves to come from behind, and Richard Mandela has a horse called Wild Rush, and you know Mandela's loaded.
All right, well, they'll all be there. Hank will be there. Next stop, Belmont Park. That's it for now. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, guys. There's not a hole in this tournament where par is a good score for him. That's how one opponent assesses Tiger Woods' chances at the Bryon Nelson. More on Tiger next.
Don't let a new car payment be a financial burden. Call 1-800-32-SMART. About Smart Lease by GMAC. It just might give you something you wouldn't mind carrying around. Don't let a new car payment get you all wound up. Call 1-800-32-SMART about Smart Lease by GMAC. It can put a new spin on affordability.
When you really need a phone, this is the phone you need. The Fizz Cellular phone from Philips Magnavox.
For years, ESPN has been working to improve sports for the fan.
With this new helmet, ESPN commentators can interview a batter while he's at the plate. Slugger Mickey Mantle demonstrates.
Hey, Mick. Can you hear us, Mick? Is this distracting?
Boycotted by players, the helmet did lead to a breakthrough in coverage for all sports. ESPN SportsZone, with Peter Gammon's baseball column, player profiles, everything you need to be a better fan. ESPN SportsZone, technology for you.
Major League Baseball, we've got the Marlins, we've got the Pirates, and we've got Jim Leyland facing his old team, going for two in the row in the Steel City. Top of the third, 2 out, Marlins up 1-0. Steve Cook facing Edgar Renteria, who slices one to left field. 2 batters later, Moises Alou. Opposite to right field. Renteria scores, Marlins up 2-0. The next batter is Jeff Conine.
We saw that a couple of times last night.
And he slashes one past Dale Swain. Alou scores from second. And all of a sudden, the Marlins are up 3-0. Next batter's Bobby Bowe. He drives one to right center, and that scores Conine. Bonilla with one of 2 doubles he had on the night. He also had 3 hits. Marlins up 4-0. Now in the 6th, Marlins up 6-0. Pat Rapp, the pitcher. Deep, left, and out. His first career home run. Marlins up 7-0. All 9 Marlins starters with at least 1 hit, and the Marlins going to win it 11-1. So they win their 6th in a row. They're now 9 games over 500 for the first time in their 5-year history. The 19 hits, a season high for the Marlins. All 4 of Florida's ex-Pirates, Bonilla, John Cangelosi, Moises Alou, and John Wehner, have career averages above 300 against their former team. Astros and Phillies, Curt Schilling in trouble early. Top of the first, 2 out when Jeff Bagwell rips the fastball over the left field wall. 1-0 Stros, Bagwell's 12th home run of the year. Same score, bottom 3, man on first, 2 out, and Shane Reynolds is cruising until Scott Rowland says, stop that cruise. He drives it over the center field wall. Phillies take the 2-1 lead. Check that. Top of the 8th now. Phillies up 4-2. Schilling trying to hang on. 2 on, 2 out.
We're going to score 2 runs.
Schilling brings the heat low and away, and Thomas Howard just didn't even see it. 11th strikeout of the night. The fans are loving it, and so is Kurt. Phillies going to win 4-2. Schilling wins his 3rd in a row. He allowed 3 hits, and his 11 strikeouts gave him 79 on the year, best in the major league. Phillies right-hander Mike Grace on the disabled list in spring training with a strained right bicep has been throwing off the mound, and he will pitch a simulated game on Monday.
AL, the Angels riding a 5-game winning streak into Saturday's game with Milwaukee, but this one didn't start so well. Top of the 3rd already, 3-0 Brew Crew. John Jaha, the long solo homer, his 8th of the year, 4-0 Milwaukee. Bottom 6, it's 5-zip. Jim Leyritz with the bouncer, Jose Valentin. Oops. Jim Edmonds scores, it's 5-1 Brewers. The Angels fans coming to life. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Gary DiSarcina at the plate, and he smokes one. But Mark Loretta, the pride of Phi Chapter of Phi Gamma Delta, helps turn the double play. DiSarcina stunned. Now 5-5 of the 8th, 2 out. Darren Erstad lighting the base hit to left. Craig Graybeck scores what turns out to be the winning run. Anaheim, its 13th comeback win of the season. The Angels just keep on rolling. Their 6th straight win, 6-5 the final. This is the 3rd time this week the Angels have rallied from a 5-0 deficit to win. It was Milwaukee's 5th straight loss. Tigers and Royals continuing their 4-game set. Top of the 3rd, Tigers have 3-zip. Tony Clark facing Jim Pitsley, and Clark hits it to the deepest part of the ballpark. It is gone as he continues his assault on AL pitching, his 15th of the year. Tigers leading at 5-zip. They got some good starting pitching in this one. Tim Pugh making his first start of the year. Knocks down Jose Offerman's grounder with his bare hand and gets him at first. Then Pugh against Jay Bell, striking him out. 3 hits in 8 innings for Pugh. And then it's Clark again. Yes, indeedy-do. The shot to right is 16th of the season. Just 2 behind Junior for the league lead. He's now driven in 45. 9-2 Tigers, your final. Pugh gets the win against the team that released him last year. With 14 days left in the month, Detroit has already won 3 more games this May than the 4 they won all of last May.
Tiger Woods has said repeatedly that he expects to win every tournament he enters. Now I have a question for you. Is there any reason why we shouldn't believe this guy? Tiger's in Texas this week after a 1-month hiatus, and once again, the rest of the golf world is looking up. Jimmy Roberts has the latest tale of the Tiger.
It was a different type of test for Tiger Woods on Saturday, to hold it together in the face of a swing which wasn't quite working at times.
You have to get it out. You have to trust your short game, and you got to play smart. I knew I wasn't hitting the ball well in the middle of the round, so I fired at all the fat sides of the greens and just tried to 2-putt and maybe luck one in there from about 20 or 30 feet until my swing came around.
And when it did, as usual, there were thousands there to bear witness.
It's really a normal event other than the fact that when he's leading, it becomes just something a little bit different.
Rinker and Mike Stanley were part of the rolling circus on Saturday. Sunday, they will all play in twosomes, and the task falls to David Bergagno.
I just look at it as a gallery. You know, I've played with Tiger before, and we're in practice round, and we had a couple thousand probably following us, but it's no big deal.
A small touch of irony in the final grouping of the day. Much has been made over Tiger Woods' ability to perhaps widen the appeal of golf to kids who might not have otherwise been interested or had the means to take up the game. 12 years ago, David Bergagno himself might have been just such a kid. His mother was 15 years old when she gave birth to him. He was raised, as he says, dirt poor and on welfare. Introduced to the game by a priest at his local Catholic school. On Sunday, he'll be playing for a first prize of $324,000. At the Bryon Nelson Classic, I'm Jimmy Roberts, ESPN.
Thank you, Jimmy. And the Rockets are moving on up, but not to the east side, to the Great Salt Lake. More on their Game 7 heroics when we return. This is SportsCenter.
been an engineer for Porsche for 26 years. We are looking for perfection, no? Such an elusive goal. Yet we see it all around us. It's the basis for being successful. The search for perfection needs support from partners. And one of these partners is Mobile. All Porsche engines are developed with Mobile One. And we tell owners to keep on using it. I think we have found with Mobile an excellent partner.
Tonight, Fred McGriff, also known as the Crime Dog. Biggest bet on a red-hot Atlanta lumber company. Cardinals Braves, the Sunday night baseball game of the week. Tonight at 8, only on ESPN.
White Sox in the Bay Area to battle the Bash Brothers. Bottom 4, 2 outs. Sox up 1-0. Did we say Bash brother? Mark McGwire. See ya. Out of the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, his 14th. We're tied at 1. The A's also getting it done on defense. Scott Spezio with the diving grab on an Ozzie Guillen grounder, and then he manages to make the glove toss for the fourth. Top 5, 2 on, 1 out. Sox up 4-3. Dave Martinez, a 3-run job off Steve Karsay. Sox go up 7-3. They go on to win it by a final of 7-6. Thomas, who's hitting .443 with 20 ribbies and 20 runs in his last 20 games, was not happy with his performance. I don't feel like I'm swinging that well, said FT. I don't feel that comfortable at the plate at all. The Indians and the Jays, final score 8-1 in favor of Cleveland. Albie Lopez, who is the flip-flop from the bullpen to the starting rotation this season, worked 5 innings, giving up 3 hits, and he struck out 4 and walked 1. Dave Justice was a late scratch for the Indians lineup with the flu.
In case you missed it, Lanchin Wings in the Western Conference Finals. Third period, score tied at 2. Steve Yzerman banks it in off Patrick Waugh. Stevie Y pumped. Yzerman's 4th goal of the playoffs. Wings go on to win it 4-2 to even up the series at a game apiece. Detroit outshot Colorado 40-17. Game 3 is Monday in Detroit.
Today's society puts a premium on less. Thin is in, too much is out. But such was not the case in Game 7 of the Sonics-Rockets series, where the Seattle bench was lean and Charles Barkley is anything but. Mark Schwartz has more from the Western Showdown.
He was money on the low block. He controlled the boards. And ultimately, he even manipulated the media. Charles Barkley says his declaration that Houston would win Game 7 was no guarantee. It was simply a ploy to protect a rattled Rocket rookie.
Matt was able to go out there and relax. I didn't want to read stories about how bad Matt Maloney was playing. I want to read stories about me guaranteeing a win.
That's Charles's way of trying to protect his teammates. He's very good at that, and give him a lot of credit.
One veteran Barkley watcher knew Charles's words were bad news for the Sonics, much as they were 4 years earlier.
See, I remember Charles very vividly in a Game 7 when I was with Seattle, and he was in Phoenix, and we came down there and were playing very well, and he just killed us. I think he had 44 points and 25 rebounds, and back then he stated that.
Barkley claims he'll live a happy life, championship ring or not, but on a team that's already dined at the title table twice, he does bring a healthy appetite for the crown.
You need an infusion of guys that's hungry for it to push these guys on. And I think Charles was that infusion. I think I've been that infusion because we've never been there.
When you look at the difference between last year when you beat them 4 straight and this year when they beat you in 7, was Barkley that different?
No, I mean, definitely. You know, you have... if you just have one low post guy and you can trap and rotate and not worry about rebounding position, it's a lot easier. Now we have to worry about 2 guys in the post.
When asked if the Sonics improved themselves with off-season changes that added Jim McIlvaine, Larry Stewart, and Craig Elo, while subtracting Vince Askew, Irvin Johnson, and Frank Burkowski, Gary Payton was non-committal. But a former Sonic believes that while Seattle is new, it is not necessarily improved.
When you lose a Askew, when you lose a Irvin Johnson, and you lose a Nate McMillan, it makes it tough.
Is there any sense, Detlef, that maybe this team has taken a step away from a championship this year?
I don't think so. You know, obviously we have different personnel. We had to make some changes. We're getting a little older too, and you know, we're not that far away.
What a difference a year makes. Remember, entering this season, Seattle had beaten Houston 13 times in a row. But for those who believe Sir Charles was acquired just to silence the Sonics, Barkley says, think again. He now believes Seattle isn't even the best team in the West. He says the Rockets will meet them Monday in Salt Lake City. Reporting from Houston, I'm Mark Schwartz, ESPN.
Thank you, Mark. Still ahead on the show, Ray Knight and Bobby Knight have some of the same tendencies, please. The Padres and the Reds as we round third on this edition of SportsCenter.
With text messaging, Direct Connect, two-way radio for instant contact.
Time's been changed to 3. Call Wilson right away.
Got it.
Right, 3.
And digital cellular for the ultimate in wireless security.
The time's been moved to 3.
On my way.
Nextel lets you accomplish even the most difficult business objectives.
Let's do it.
Get smart. Get Nextel, the national all-digital wireless network.
Hoover Dam. At over 6.6 million tons, it generates electricity to 3 western states.
Hey, it doesn't hold water compared to the new 22-pound Coleman PowerMate 1000. Pound for pound, the most powerful portable generator ever built. Use it anytime, anywhere you need power. It'll even jump-start a dead battery instantly. And the best place to pick one up is at the Home Depot. The new Coleman PowerMate 1000. All the power you can handle with the handle.
I am a professional athlete. I was an All-American in college, but you wouldn't know because I didn't play basketball. I was the leading scorer in America, but you wouldn't know because I'm not on any cereal box. That's okay. I don't play to be famous. I play because it's the greatest sport in the world. By the way, my name's Roy. Nice to meet you.
All right, the Pods in Cincinnati to take on baseball's worst team. Just ask Ray Knight. Back in third base coaching box, advising Curtis Goodwin at third. And Goodwin tries to steal home. He's out, so let's assume it was bad advice. Bottom third, 2 on. Goodwin lines one up the middle. Kent Merker scores. Steve Finley fires a strike to third, which is where Deion Sanders was headed. Deion's tagged out, and Ray Knight goes ballistic. Watch it again. Third base ump Jerry Lane. He may have been obscured by the dust. Sanders is out. Knight still wants to say his piece, so he says, I'll pick up this third base bag, and then see he tagged it. Deion tagged it, and I'm upset. And second ejection this month for Knight. Top 7, 4-2 Pods. Knight leaves. And Tony Gwynn leaves with this. Mike Remlinger deep to right. Padres win 6-2. Gwynn 3 for 4 on the day. Gwynn's 8th of the year. 6-2 the final. The win ended a 4-game losing streak for San Diego. Hit rock bottom on Friday when the Cubs beat them 16-7 to put them 10 games below 500.
Red Sox and Twins, Jimmy Williams fulfilling his contractual obligation to spit every time he's on TV. Top of the second inning, no score. Troy O'Leary facing Brad Radke. Hits the blast to right for the solo homer, 1-0 Sox. Top of the third, still 1-0 Sox. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Mo Vaughn deep to center. Darren Jackson can't catch up with a 2-run double. Scores Darren Bragg and Will Cordero. 3-0 Sox. Bottom 6, still 3-zip. Tom Gordon getting it done. Gets Rich Becker swinging on the curveball. Gordon hurling Boston's first complete game of the year. A 4-hit shutout. The Red Sox finally put a halt to their 7-game skid. 4-zip the final. This just the Bo Sox second win in their last 13 games.
The ladies in Delaware for the LPGA Championship. Chris Johnson on the 11th, 15-foot. That's a beeline for the Nixon. Johnson drops to 3 under par. Lita Lindley on the 16th hole, representing the color blue. The approach shot falls about 10 feet short of the hole. That set up a birdie, and Lindley finished tied for the lead with Johnson at 3 under. She's never finished higher than 3rd place on the tour. She's in her 3rd season. Kim Psyche shot a 69 to move within 2 strokes of the lead. She's looking for her first win on the tour.
Even Bo Jackson, one of the great all-around athletes of our time, had trouble competing with an artificial hip. Hasn't been such an easy road back for George Archer either, but he is getting there. As Jeremy Schaap tells us, Archer isn't the only unlikely name on the leaderboard of the Cadillac NFL Classic.
George Archer is 57.
His right hip just celebrated its first birthday. Playing in pain, Archer is nevertheless in position to win his first tournament since winning here in 1995. But the 4-stroke lead he enjoyed after the first round is down to 1 stroke.
The way I played today, I putted absolutely beautiful yesterday, and today I had a case of the lockjaw. That's the only way I can describe it. I couldn't hit the darn thing.
He and I are meeting in there in the physical trailer we have, and it's just like Murphy. I mean, there's a bunch of us, the one that gets cold weather, you kind of get stove up.
At 1 stroke back, Rick Massengale has been playing on the senior tour only slightly longer than Archer's new hip. 15 years removed from his last round on the regular PGA Tour, Massengale's playing in only his 3rd tournament as a senior and has no exemption.
We've got to wait until December this year to go to the qualifying school. Either that or shoot 66 tomorrow.
He's probably only about 35 or 40. That's what he looks like, so probably shouldn't be out here. But seriously, Rick's a nice guy.
Well, everyone teases me about that I look young. I wish they'd pay you for looking young, but they don't. But I'm 50.
If not for several late player withdrawals, Massengale would not have even qualified for this tournament. As it is, he is now in position to contend for his first senior title, adding to a resume that already includes 3 regular tour titles. In Clifton, New Jersey, Jeremy Schaap, ESPN.
Thanks, Jeremy. A few days ago, the Knicks appeared to have a berth in the conference finals wrapped up. Now they're 1 game away from elimination. We'll preview Sunday's hoops action when SportsCenter continues.
Really big deals are at Mrs. G's on washers, dryers, VCRs, big screen TVs, CD players, refrigerators, microwaves, and much more at unmatched savings.
How do we do it?
With unmatched buying power on over 48 brand names. So the next time you think of appliances or electronics, remember,
the big deals are at Mrs. G's.
1 block south of the junction of 295 and 95 on Route 1 in Lawrenceville.
Conferences, seminars,
A1 limousine for people going places,
airports, train stations, cruise ships, casinos, sporting events, restaurants.
Anywhere you can imagine, A1 will get you there in style and at a price you can afford.
Operas, school trips, museums, amusement parks, ski areas, racetracks.
A1 limousine for people going places.
Hello, Queen of England here, spokesperson for MLS. Couldn't help noticing the 11 on your jersey. Are you a Precky fan by chance?
Precky's a god.
Yeah, Precky's a god. Oh, to be sure. What culinary delights do we have on the griddle today?
Burgers?
Yeah, you want one? But no, I'm partial to Scottish salmon. A bit like my husband, you know. Rather bony, but definitely worth the work. Carry on. Go Wizards! Yeah, go Wizards! Go Wizards!
Here are Saturday scores from the Diamond with musical accompaniment. Feel free to hum along if you know the tune.
Sonics and Rockets, Game 7 under a minute and a half left. Fourth quarter, Rockets up 3. Matt Maloney, the give and go with Clyde the Glide, and Maloney drills it. That put Houston up 6. They hung on to win it. 96-91. The Rockets are now 17-0 when they win the first game of the series. Maloney finished with 15. Barkley had 20 points and 14 boards. They will open the conference finals against Utah on Monday night in Salt Lake City.
As we told you earlier, Barkley guaranteed a win in that one. Some guarantees in the East, too. Game 7 on Sunday. The Knicks' Chris Childs saying somebody's year is going to be over, and it's not going to be ours. Patrick Ewing adding, see you in Chicago. Then again, what else are they going to say? It'll be an uphill battle for New York, though, without the suspended Larry Johnson and John Starks.
They think that winning 2 games and just being home is going to get them a win. They're going to lose. You know, I've just been there too many times, and the team that feels too good about itself at this stage against the team that's, you know, desperate. You know, New York's desperate.
Key is now we're just going to go down, forget about that game, learn from it, and go down and make sure, you know, the season's not over. That's the bottom line.
While the NBA's haves will be duking it out Sunday in Miami, the have-nots will be focused on halftime. That's when the league will hold the annual draft lottery. Wake Forest Tim Duncan considered to be the biggest prize, and the Celtics have the best shot at getting him. The French Open preps continue. Clay court action coming your way when SportsCenter continues as Goran Ivanisevic looks to get past the up-and-coming Alex Corretja. Stay with us. Dave and I coming right back.
Dad, I want a pager. A Motorola?
Really? What's in it for me?
Dad, you want me? If I'm ever late, page me. See, we can make this connection, you know? I mean, I'm never gonna take it to school. I'll respond like that, and Dad, your pages come first.
You would do that for me? Would you do something else for me? Shave.
Motorola pagers to know now.
Put on a clean shirt.
Motorola, what you never thought possible.
Welcome to sunny California. Man, if it wasn't raining, I'll be busting y'all up right now. Little crossover right to left. You know, I hit you with the first step. I'll blow right by you.
Sometimes we just try to make you look good.
Stop like that. Oh, I think the sun coming out, too.
The NASCAR Ride-Along program puts you in the action.
Can we stop?
Why?
Well, I'm fine, but Vladdy really needs to stretch his legs.
Well, we're kind of winning.
Can't you call timeout?
Doesn't work that way.
Oh, that's better.
I could pit. NASCAR on ESPN. Come along for the ride.
Italian Open semis, Goran Ivanisevic and Alex Corretja. Ivanisevic, the highest remaining seed at number 6, serving to the 10th seed Corretja. Corretja in the far courts, and the forehand winner beats Ivanisevic. Corretja came from behind to take the first set 7-6, 7-5 in the tiebreak. Second set also went to a tiebreak. Corretja near court goes to the net. Go to the net, Corretja. There he goes. Backhand cross-court winner. Corretja takes the match 7-6, 7-6. He is on to the finals with the straight set win. He will face Marcelo Rios in Sunday's final. At the German Open, Mary Pierce, fresh off her Italian Open win of last week, advancing to another final with a straight sets win over Amanda Kutzer. She'll face American Mary Jo Fernandez in Sunday's final.
Major League Soccer, Tampa Bay mutiny in the Dallas Burn, and that's Damian, his first game for the Burn. His presence would be felt early. He goes through even McKinley's legs and feeds Dante Washington for the goal, 1-0 Burn. Damian wasn't finished on the penalty kick. Upper right corner, it's good, and Dallas goes on to win 2-0. The Burn have their 3-game winning streak snapped, and Sean Bartlett scored in the 5th shootout round to give the Colorado Rapids a 2-1 victory over the Columbus Crew. 10,000 showed up in Denver to get their kicks. It's time for a break, but don't you go. Trevor and I coming back with an NBA lottery. Did you know?
Inside your car's fuel system, there's a constant battle between good and evil. So if you have a dirty fuel system, none of these dark forces can match the power of STP Complete Fuel System Cleaner. STP's most technologically advanced fuel system cleaner ever. Dirt has met its match. STP Complete Fuel System Cleaner.
If you got a beard, we've got your number. The adjustable Maverick Beard and Mustache Trimmer with 6 different settings. Man, does this do a number on beards. Maverick from Norelco.
A place where legends are made and records are broken.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Watch the race for the pole at the Brickyard. The Indy 500 time trials. Live coverage continues today at 2 on ESPN2 and at 5 on ESPN.
The seniors head into the Garden State, where top tour players pair up with NFL superstars. And Al Del Greco shoots for a 5th consecutive title. The Cadillac NFL Golf Classic. Coverage concludes today at 3 on ESPN.
Earlier in the show, we mentioned the NBA Draft Lottery, which will be held at halftime of Sunday's Heat-Knicks game.
That's right. Did you know that since the NBA Draft Lottery's inception in 1985, Utah is the only team not to make a lottery selection? The Jazz have been in the playoffs every year since Patrick Ewing was the first pick by the Knicks in '85. That season, Utah made Karl Malone the 13th overall selection, their highest first-round pick since the advent of the draft lottery. And if you had a did you know that you think we should enjoy, say hello on the internet at ESPN.SportsZone.com. If the Reverend and I like it, and it's our say, we may put you on TV.
It's a lot of responsibility, but we can handle it. I'm Dave Revsine. That does it for this edition of SportsCenter.
I'm Dave Feldman. Enjoy your Sunday.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.